Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, sir.
How are you today?
Fine.
I'm fine, sir.
Sir.
Yeah, we have a a guest here now. Her name is Atefa Mohseni. She's from Iran. Let me see here. Atefa is the signal probably. Yeah. But okay, I will explain first about her. What is it? Her CV. Yeah, let me explain. Okay, let's see. This one. I hope Atefa will be back with us soon. Let me share screen. Yeah, our presenter today is her name is Atefa Mohseni. Yeah, this is the she is quite young. Yeah, she's 35 years old. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. 35, and her email is atefa underscore mohseni 89 at yahoo.com, and this is her mobile number, WhatsApp number. Yeah. 98 91 92 90 36 5140. Yeah. This is her what is it, mobile phone number, and she lives in Kars. Yeah, this is the unit 7, number 107, Meher Building, Kayam Sharki Street. Yeah, Meh Villa District, Kars. Yeah, Alborz Province in Iran. Yeah. Oh, the mobile phone number here is the mobile phone number. And talking about her
It's a personal number.
Oh, personal number. Okay. And then the qualifications, experience in working with children. Yeah. From children and adult. Yeah. In where is it? Kabahar Free Zone. As a
Free zone. One
yeah.
of free zone Iran is southeast of Iran.
Oh yeah.
Next zone.
As an English teacher, and then experience in working in computer center for master students as part-time supervisor, and then experience teaching interchange books, yeah, series 4th edition in Civil Aviation Technology College. Yeah, so you use interchange as well, yeah, like in Indonesia. Yeah, we use interchange, yeah, for English courses. And then we have, okay, experience in curriculum designing based on NLP in area of information. What is PPL here? Atefa, PPL. For us, PPL itu ya praktek pengalaman ini ya.
I designed a curriculum based on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, for one of the pioneer companies in Alborz province. And they claim that we can learn and teach English better in neuro-linguistic programming, but all of their participants was in another province of Iran, and it wasn't easy for me to communicate and commute every day from Karachi to another province. So just 3 months as a project, I designed the curriculum based on neuro-linguistic programming, and also one demo for them in my own city, Karachi city.
Okay, thank you. And then you have also experience as a translator. Yeah. And then here is the, what is it? Education, yeah. English language and literature 2009 in Arak State University. Yeah, GPA 15. 15, yeah. And then teaching English as a foreign language in TEFL, yeah, 2010 to 2013. Kabahar Maritime University. Okay. And then working experience here as an English teacher, English language teacher in private school of Kestirani, yeah, and OJ Language Center, Kabahar. Is it far from? Is it in Karat, Kabahar?
Chabahar is one of the free zones of Iran. We have lots of free zones in Iran because our country has a sea above it and also below it. So we have lots of free zones like Anzali, like Chabahar free zone, Kish free zones, okay, for some kinds of import and exporting. And I studied in Chabahar. Yeah, it's far from Karat. I, has a kind of, fly to Chabahar every month. But because of my father's job, the expenses was really, really low for me, and the experience of living there was really, really nice. Okay. Working with little children for the first time.
Is Kabahar far from Shiraz, or is it near Shiraz?
No, not that. Not that far from in comparison with Tehran, okay, or big cities of Iran.
Okay, let me continue. Yeah, and then English language lecturer at Civil Aviation Technology College of Tehran, and then the office manager. Also, you have freelance, yeah, tutor and translator from Persian into English, Persian into English, and vice versa.
Yeah, I used to work as a translator, tutor English language, tutor online English language, tutor before pandemic situation. And in COVID-19 situation and circumstances, we had a a website based on Blue Button, Tajik Academy, and also I was translator for so many well-known companies of Iran.
Okay, good. And then language skills: Persian, Arabic, French, and English. Yeah. And Persian because it is your mother tongue, yeah, so you are native speaker of Persian, yeah, and Arabic, French, and then okay, this is her CV, and okay, let me. Okay, fair. Now I think it's time. Our topic today is the, what is it? Our topic today is the
instruction of writing.
The impact of genre-based instructions on the writing skills of Iranian intermediate EFL learners. Yeah, this is the title, and I think it's time for you to present, Atefe. Okay, I make you the co-host, and you can share screen. Yeah, just open the PowerPoint first, and then you can share screen.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to welcome everyone joining myself in this webinar. And then I should tell you and add some information about this study, because it's derived from my thesis master, and it was undertook on Civil Aviation Technology College of Tehran. And it's better to say and add that civil aviation, or CASI, is one of the pioneer center at the field of civil aviation training in Iran. This college offers training in field of aircraft control, aircraft maintenances, electronic and telecommunication, and it's in juxtaposition of Mehrabad Airport of Tehran, in Tehran city. Okay, in the name of Allah, all the things were told about me, myself, my CV, all the background. You know me better. This study is drum-based instruction of writing and the effect that it has or impact it has on some writing skills, namely coherence, cohesion, and organization. Shall I share my screen?
Sure, sure. You can share screen now.
Okay. This webinar organization is consisted of introduction, first of all, some kinds of review of related literature, and then methodology and result and discussion, some kinds of pedagogical implication, and some kinds of suggestion for the other, ELT practitioners and EFL or TEFL researchers all over the Iran, especially in dear Indonesia right now, and then we conclude all of this information together. As I said to you before,
can you make it full screen, Atefeh, Mohseni?
Yeah.
Make it full screen. Yeah, so we can see it better. Yeah, that's good.
The impact of genre-based instruction on writing skills. Yeah, genre-based instructions of writing. First of all, I should mention that we all know that English language has been considered as a lingua franca or interlanguage for all over the world. It means that it's a language that we use all over the world, and there are 4 skills that we intend to master in English language teaching or learning. All of us know it: speaking, listening, reading, and writing. This study is about the writing, and this approach is genre-based instruction of writing. English language writing should be mastered as a necessity in today's world. Why? Because as probably the first skills in making a connection in our international communication, national communications via internet, yeah, email, letter, sending pamphlets, and sending some kinds of manuals for our businesses, journals in our research industry, and all this stuff like this. Different approaches and methods we have in English language, writing skills, teaching, and all of these have been served in this industry. Many of these approaches in English language teaching emphasize oral communication skills and put the emphasis on oral communication skills. But some of them just emphasis on the outcome or the process.
I think we have problem with the signal. Yeah, her signal problem. I think. Hello. Okay, let me. Oh, he lost her signal. Yeah. Reza Katipur, are you with us also now? Reza, I think Atefeh has. Oh yeah, hi. I think Atefeh has problem with the signal. Yeah, the internet connection.
Right, it seems so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, ATV now is
Can you
back.
hear me now?
Yeah. I think you lost your signal. Yeah.
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 Yeah, Jean. Jean means kind, Jean means sword. And when we say Jean-based instruction of writing, we meant teaching
I
different
think you
kinds
can
of.
I think you can start share screen again because you lost connection. Share
Yeah,
screen.
okay.
Yeah.
Today it's raining cats and dogs in Karaj, and I think it's because of, raining so hard.
Oh yeah, is it raining there?
Yeah.
Oh, so you lost the signal,
Yeah,
yeah, because
it feels great for us, but some of Indonesian friends are interrupted.
it's not raining here now. Reza, is it raining in Shiraz now? Reza, the same happens?
Unfortunately, no.
No. Oh yeah, so only in Karaj, yeah.
No, it's really pleasant here.
Yeah.
It's raining cats and dogs. But sorry
Yeah.
for interruption.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. You can continue. You can
yeah,
continue.
yeah, let's continue our business. We have different kinds of approaches in writing as well. A number of them before genre-based approaches are called, for example, product-based approach, process-based approach, and these approaches have dominancy over last decade. These early approaches have based on, structural linguism and also behaviorism in psychology, or better to say, audiolingual method in ELT, or TEFL. The lingual method, as you know, we have some kinds of imitation, rotatory, imitation, repetition. We form habits in writing, learning, in guided composition, or control kind of writing. All of us have some kinds of experiences in these kinds of classes, in which the teacher, intends to use or uses as a kind of devices and teaches us short sentences and instruction. It's really tough for all of us. And the teacher, she or he, tells us, a mechanical, as a kind of mechanical writer, and we're taken so passively, and we are passive writers, step by step, to repeat his rhetorical or grammatical structures. We don't have any sense of, creativity. Musafir 2010 believes in Iran that another approaches of writing emerge in a position of product and process, product base. And it has some kinds of significance on cognitive process, the process that in our mind, rather than finished product or finished composition or the piece of writing. It's called process-based approach, okay? And teaching writing based on a product-based approach is based on the notion of controller guided, as I said before, but in process-based, in comparison with the product-based writers, internal process has some kinds of, power to create a text in nonlinear and recursive stages. We have better modifying in this approach, but some kinds of deficits or some kinds of, errors right now. And process-based is teacher center. Grammar instruction for process-based also is so important for writing. And product-based is grammar. Teacher center grammar instruction is so important for writing, and we have some kinds of habit formation in a deductive way and linear way, from examples, from the rule to the examples. Another In the other hand, process-based approach is student-centered, non-linear, and inductive from, examples to the rule. Learner in both of them were taught through different phrases, but in the process-based, they are learned such as, pre-writing, composition, revising, drafting. But all in all, something is missed, and as I said before, the creativity is lost because they don't have enough information to write in another setting or in other, circumstances for another purpose. ESP, EAP, academic writing, business writing. So all of us as an ELT practitioner should provide our learner with hints or tips to write in different contexts, okay? Genre-based approaches focuses on audience needs and, teaching and learning in new discourse community in a way that makes the student confident to handle genre and use language in real writing situation. And students in previous approaches were not prepared enough to write differently for different needs, but in GBI of writing, the main need is, tied to social cultural factors. As I said before, business writing, academic, and blah, 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 blah. We lay emphasis on different writing patterns in which the focal point is on communicative purposes, and we let our students to write successfully and to communicate better. So they are now equipped to write better for every purpose and in every context, but in the same discourse community, okay? This kinds of instruction, GBI, provides the student to compose with high self-esteem. Their attitude toward English language writing would be enhanced in a way that they can handle different genres in their real life situation. Like the other kinds of, research or study, we have some kinds of statement of the problem that leads us to this study or this, research. In EFL context, as we all of us know, exposure to English language, like Indonesia, Iran, is really, really restricted only to a few hours just in the classroom per week, and EFL learners have many problems facing in writing skills and composing different kinds of, compositions, such as, deciding proper words, using correct grammar, generating their ideas, developing their ideas, brainstorming about the specific topics. So much of these all, teaching writing skills in EFL context are based on product and process approach, emphasize writings, product and writing processes respectively, as I said before, and as I, late emphasized before and repeated more often than not in my, lecture. One major source of weakness is usually lack of, conformity with the norms and what is important in the target speech community, as Laurie believes in Iran. Field of writing had some kinds of, change and a direction over past decades, as I said before, from product based, so process based, and also some kinds of different kinds of approach, and leads us finally to GBI today. We have some kinds of, social sense activity in such recent notion as communicative competence, defined in linguistic social construction, and not a social sense in philosophy, and learning in situation or situated learning in education area. Explicit instruction provided in GBI, exposing a student to some different kinds of genre. Here, 4 different kinds of genre are brought. For example, focuses on teaching particular genre that the student need to know and need to master on the basis of, their circumstances, their context, audience, purpose, organization of their writing. Student provides this approach, providing this approach and utilizing this approach can write coherently and better and respond to social needs via synthesizing to different genres. For example, in this study, 4 different genres are brought here and are chosen here, and I would name them a few minutes later, okay? It helps a student to learn what they need for studying language in every setting and context. And as the Palfridge argues, this approach of writing focuses on particular genre to help the student's success in every kinds of, genres of writing and every place and every circumstances. An ELT practitioner implementing and using GBI writing in his or her classroom or her study or all the things like this gets their learner composed on the basis of their audience, their needs, organization, and purpose of writing. To writing in traditional writing approaches, as I said before, product, process, and all the things like this, teacher only rely on grammatical points, some kind tough, restricted, grammatical instructions, repeating rotatory, and structure without considering sentence, context, sentence, certain needs of the, language learner or their circumstances or situation. The purpose of this study is, investigating and exploring the effect of genre-based instruction on coherence and cohesion of writing quantitatively. Okay. So we have lots of, outcome, analyzing, output, and all the things like this to explore the effect of genre-based of writing on organization of the writing on as writing skills. Also, by writing skills here, I mean organization. So coherence, cohesion, and also organization. 4 genres of writing are employed here. To name a few, argumentative, explanation, exposition, and discussion, okay? My study and my research is very important. Why? Because EFL learners have various reasons for attending the language learning classes. All of us, in our young years, were some kinds of, language learning learners, and we had some kinds of, reasons and some kinds of goals, vision and mission to learn language. So these classes should prepare them to understand social functions and factors of different genres and different kinds of writing so that they can compose and write better for different texts and every writing context correctly on their own and, by their own, capability without any kinds of aids. This study is hoped to benefit foreign and second language writing curriculum planner, foreign or language, second language teacher, researcher, Indonesian people, Iranian people all over the world by assisting both learners and teachers in what GBI pedagogy means per se, how it should be implemented in actual context of real life. So practically, we are speaking about GBI pedagogy. Okay, this study can be considered as an experimental one. It's not historical, it's not case studied. All of these are, spelled out. This is empirical, experimental one because we have 2 group of people, control people, and experimental people. We have some kinds of placebo, we have some kinds of treatment and outcomes of writing pedagogy. Like the other, research in ELT and TEFL area, we have some kinds of limitations. We limited limitation that inhibits us in our research, and some kinds of limitation that we restrict or study to. As limitation, I should mention that holding these classes for me at the same time and for my colleagues at the same time of days of week due to university curriculum and timesheet was impossible, these classes were held in different times of weeks, and GBI might have various impact on EFL learners with different level of writing ability. So it's clear cut enough that generalizing the outcome of this study to all EFL learners is, questionable, and it doesn't make sense. To eliminate or decrease any negative factor, and due to the shortage of the time, researcher, me myself, didn't teach, and the students were not informed of their research. Okay, they think that they are in their ordinary classes doing some kinds of um, activities in their own classes, and they were not aware of their research at all. We have some kinds of limitation. We restricted the research to these factors only on the effects of GBI on intermediate level students in Iran and some writing skills. As I said to you before, coherence, cohesion, organization. To ensure that participants were at intermediate level, two pretests were administered. First of all, Michigan English Language Assessment Battery or MLAB test for proficiency, first of all, and then writing test of TOEFL IBT 2008 for all of these genres, for genres, as I said to you before. This study was conducted in one semester of the curriculum of university. Due to the limitation of the time, we have limitation of the time. Treatment period was conducted after Nowruz holiday. We have Nowruz holiday in spring, and the semester was the second semester of university, winter semester. And treatment was conducted after Nowruz holiday, because in Nowruz holiday we have 14 days off, and maybe we have some kinds of maturation effects. So we conducted these research after Nowruz holiday to eliminate this effect.
What is maturation effect? You mean? I didn't.
Maturation effect, maybe they have some kinds of free time to work on themselves, or some kinds of how shall I put it into English words, some kinds of working at home with different kinds of genres, writing different kinds of composition on their own. Some free times, 14 days. It's really, really long enough to work on themselves on compositions. And these research questions, and this research has two questions and two hypotheses. Question one is, does GBI have a significant impact on EFL learners' writing skills, such as coherence and cohesion? Question number two, does GBI writing have any significant impact on organization of their writing? This study has a null hypothesis. By null hypothesis, we mean that it doesn't have any kinds of, effect. A hypothesis, null hypothesis one, GBI has no significant impact on intermediate EFL learners' writing skills such as coherence and cohesion. Null hypothesis two, GBI has no significant impact on organization of their writing. Okay, here some kinds of review of related literature. There are many ways for learning English language in such in foreign language setting. I told you before, more often than not, and enough one of the ways in practicing language skill. First of all, is registering in writing classes. Okay, in EFL setting, writing gives learners a better opportunity to compose and their composition or writing themselves than speaking. EFL writing skill was not considered very important to language teacher or language practitioners, curriculum designer, because most of them were occupied and they lack emphasis on speaking. They thought that speaking is really, really important among four skills. Scott conclude that a great amount of practicing and attention to learning and teaching writing skills should be regarded as academic exercise instead of real communicating writing. Okay, so it's really important in academic setting to know writing skills. Writing is the most difficult skill to learn, requires a huge amount of mental activity. We deal with different kinds of mental activity in writing, brainstorming, rephrasing, all of this, and practice. Writing research has become a major section of most important applied linguistic skills, and these skills is a significant, um, international research field in English language teaching, as Atkinson 2000 believes. There is an overview of definition, importance, approaches, methods, history, background of writing skills instruction. Then it extends different approaches to writing skills and their deficits and their shortcomings. Last but not least, it deals with GBI of writing, different kinds of pedagogy, different kinds of approaches and methods, tradition and principles that we use in John theory to be incorporated in different teaching and learning contexts. Writing definition in Coming Words in 1998 refers to exactly not only to text and writing skills, script, but also at the act of thinking, composing, encoding language in such text. Writing this text is composing in social constructions. Albrighton 2008 discusses stages in development of writing. First of all, these stages based on Albrighton presented roughly here, 1 to 8 phases. Number 1, early years. Number 2, process research stage. Number 3, text analysis stage. Number 4, purpose and social context stage. 5, emergence of a field stage. 6, focus on writer. 7, interaction with the text. 8, story building. In all of these stages and phrases, step by step, our focus on productive writing, is diminished, it decreases, is less and less and lesser and less, and building powerful model of writing and writing instructions, is under consideration. Writing can be learned through formal instruction, first of all, and it can be considered as a kind of act of originating and extracting, creating opinions, ideas, to be regarded and to be in focus of originating and creating a process of cognitive problem solving and discovering meaning. It is different from speech. In writing we have different factors. Writing skills is a skill that everyone needs it, should learn it, should have dominance over it. And writers write to people who are present at the time of the speaking. Okay, first of all, it's a need that we write to the people that are present when we are writing to them. Different kind of writings are increasingly born and emerge. Why? Because every emerge of because of emergence and we having some kinds of utilization of internet and information technology, and all of us have access to internet, so it's better for all of us to know English language writing to communicate better in a world. A new dimension in writing and language learning per se deserves focal attention. History of writing research is not very long, and in writing, history of writing, and it's not always easy to talk and claiming about the development of this field of study, I mean writing, because the focus of all of the research and ELT practitioners and researchers and the other person usually has been usually on different aspects of writing skills. Rhymes 1991 believes that new approaches for teaching writing are found by researchers. Before we had a product and process approach. Now, instead of a product and process approach that didn't provide us with useful guidelines and methods for constructing and composing different kinds of written text, genre-based approach emphasizes and has focal attention on language appropriate to various genres via and by implementing and through explicit explanation of contextual dimension and contextual layer. Writing is important. Why? Because English language is a foreign language, at least in our countries, Iran and in Indonesia. But at an international ones, it's used more and more cross-culturally. As Talibinejad and Ali Akbari believed 2001, these characteristics of English language create more needs and more tendency for EFL writing. Worcester 2000 BA concluded that if central contradiction of recent years is between global networks and local communications, English language as a tool can connect people and connect a global network and local communities together. Okay, English language is a lingua franca, as I told you before, connecting people all over the world, and English language gives meaning to people connections. Okay, so it's a very important tool to making connection, first of all, and by using internet, by using connecting people, we use it and we need it more. Really, it's an essential skill. History of writing learning includes, as I said you before, product-based approach, emphasizing on grammar, correct structure, rotary learning, and the other approaches such as process-based for correcting the structures, and many approaches like functional expressionist approach. And at last, we have genre-based approach here today, discussing it as a recent one, which offers explicit, systematic explanation of language function in every context. Okay. As Warshauter said, many other trends and approaches have been suggested along with these three major considerations: context, product-based, process-based, genre-based. Three major considerations like content-based approach, the logical approach, experientialist approach, functional approach. In what follows, we here have, a more detailed account of three major traditions: process, product, genre. So we have only attention on these kinds of approaches today, okay? We don't have any kinds of, consideration with the other rest of, approaches of writing. All of us know that there are different kind of approaches and methods, and these three approaches were not the only approaches in writing, skills, um, teaching and learning. But today we'll just lay emphasis on these three bold, approaches. Product-based approach was predominant approach in mid-1940s to mid-1960s. In product-based approach, we write, analogies with knowing appropriate using and usage of vocabulary, syntax, having good linguistic knowledge, grammar, structures. We have some kinds of imitator. Right now, it's really teacher-based, as I said you before. It's deductive and it's, non-linear. And we have some kinds of cohesive devices and linguistic knowledge. There is weakness about this approach, product-based approach. Why? Because learners would get confused as soon as they are in new, circumstances, new context. They can write longer compositions, especially for specific purposes, specific, setting, content, or meaning of composition. Is given lesser and lesser, less and less attention and emphasize. Many
Annie,
researchers still
what do you mean by this approach? Is it process, product, and gender-based approach?
product approach.
Product approach. Okay.
Yeah.
You can continue then.
Many researchers still believe that contrastive rhetoric has some proof in it, and it offers, things to write teachers. What does it mean, contrastive rhetoric? Contrastive rhetoric reveals many things about first language and then second language, text structure, and all of these, text structure can be contributed to what teachers and students regard as successful communication and writing, okay? But the other hand, Kangraja is saying that contrastive ignores the reality of linguistic and cultural contact. Students are expected to write in isolation by reading work of the author and composing essay on paragraph. So many research have been done about this approach of writing similar writings. They often write once, then the teacher read, their piece of writing, their drafts, mark some kinds of errors, mark some kinds of errors in the structures, mechanic, and assign some kinds of grade to them, okay? Scores or grade. These kinds of formalistic approach emphasize conventional structure, traditional conventions, such as recognizing or writing topic sentence, first of all, and a well-formed and well-structured essay or paragraph. The shift of emphasis from product to process-based approach, just emerged and began in 1970. And researchers began to indicate nonlinear and recursive and a process in their mind in nature of writing, okay? As Warshauer mentioned, this approach of writing, process-based approach, instruction view writing as an individual cognitive process, okay? In a classroom that's, implementing process-based approach, students receive no grammatical corrections or comments, okay? Instead, what they do, they discuss the meaning of read text. They brainstorm their ideas, their thoughts, and next they offer their drafts, their piece of writing, their compositions, and critiques, and some kind they have some kinds of discussions on their own written products and written compositions and written piece of paper. Kimmel 1994 explained that learners text as an interaction in which the writing creates multiple drafts, and each draft provides the student a chance to discover, to find out what kind of meaning should be and might be desirable or ideal or necessary to communicate in their context. Okay, a student realistically cannot write for a particular, so it's a shortcoming of process-based approach. Again, we have some kinds of shortage for particular situation. Why? Because this approach overemphasizes, significance of individual psychological functions, cognitive functions, encouraging students to make meaning writing finding forms, and do not provide clear guidelines and you know do not lead them for constructing different kinds of text. Okay, process approach provides the students with some kinds of method strategies, hints and tips, guidelines, that does not necessarily improve their writing skills. Okay, writers should learn how to produce text in different circumstances, context, settings, in the same way as a recognized member of that audience. Okay, when I providing with genre-based approach, um, as an Iranian EFL learners, when I'm in United States, when I'm in UK, I'm equipped to write with some ways and as the recognized member of that community and audience, and I can produce um, better text, better composition, better piece of paper. So here there's a shift to focus on content, products, and students have been assumed and they are equipped to be less important than process of writing. Jean-Based approach of writing is partially or partly product-based and content-based, but it also emphasized the form to be written in light of expectation, what they are expected to write for a specific discourse community, for different community. Okay, not their own community. The most important feature of genre-based approach, first of all, is the pedagogy in genre-based approaches, as Highland believes, is in providing learners explicitly instructions to understanding the outcomes of their writing text clearly and better for different kinds of setting. In English as academic purpose, and English academic for academic purpose and English for specific purpose situation, a model of typical community behavior specific to each you know mm, specific to each um, discipline is provided with growing tendency and interest in applying this approach. I mean, by this approach, I mean genre-based instruction approach. Okay, students are asked here produce similar or parallel text. Okay, uh, for every kind of community needs. According to K and Diddley Evans, 1998, John-based instructional approach, or for example, these ELT practitioners are for, or they have better attitude toward John-based approach. Why? Because these ELT practitioners consider product and process approach as perspective, prescriptive, or something that is induced to the students, and descriptive rather than restrictive, and descriptive or restrictive rather than creative. Okay, and they say that these approaches, product based and process based, subsumes or underestimates such a perspective to English writing as what we have in genre-based approach of writing. Okay, this ELT practitioner proposed to combine genre-based approach and process approach so that they have a combined approach in which the knowledge about genre product um, with the opportunity is combined, and this approach is to plan, draft, revise, edit work, as well as provide opportunity for greater interactions. A student in genre-based approach are able to produce better, but in content, what we have as a content in product-based and process approach, they are unable to master a structural convention of various text type, and they have no ability to produce various text type, as Afzali believes 2001 in Iran, especially EFL students like in Iran, in Indonesia, for writing English for academic purposes. Okay, to mitigate this problem and to eliminate or decrease this problem, different researchers have conducted various analyses based on the corpus or piece of writing and language to find out facilitate writing, to find out ways to facilitate and to ease writing via different communicative activities. Genre-based approaches also are, utilized in second language writing (ESL). Genre and writing are inextricably interwoven, connected, and linked. And achievement of genre is a necessarily an integral part of writing achievement and part of writing learning and teaching. Genre-based approach, according to Cope and Calantis 1997, is an elaborate and an extended set of discourse structures. In genre-based approach, usage of discourse, language is really highlighted. Language learner must control linguistic knowledge in their reading and their writing. This approach of language instruction to and research is relatively, prominent and recently prominent, and it's based on the work of several, ELT practitioners and researchers attempting to focus on, as I said you before, communicative goals, social dimension of language. Okay, Atkinson 1990 argues that only since first of 1980s have linguistic and other scholars began to show serious in the notion that written word may be significantly shaped by social or institutional constraints to form and content. What does it mean? He argued that only since the first half of 1960s, linguistic and other scholars began to have some kinds of, interest regarding this notion, genre-based approach. And written words and all the things that they produce may be significantly and highlightly shaped by social and institutional communicative purposes, institutional constraints. You know, they write better, they produce better form, they produce better content regarding their setting and context. Eliminating implementing and utilizing and using this approach of writing, by this approach of writing, genre-based approach of writing, demands redefinitions of teacher-learner roles, what the teacher should do, what the learners should do, and developing new teaching material, textbook, pamphlets, and instruction text, and also new techniques, new ways, new methods for classroom. And English as a second language and English as a foreign language, the discipline of genre-based instruction of writings, should analyze all of this grammar in discourse level, okay, communicative purposes, as I said to you before. Because a sentence-based view of grammar is really, really dated, it's old-fashioned, and inconsistent and irrelevant with communicative competence and communicative and social factors, okay? GBI employs Vygotsky notion of scaffolding and makes a student write different texts independently. Okay, all of us know Vygotsky. General analysis is founded and promoted by Halliday as a systematic linguistic. Okay, so we have generalized genre analysis and genre theory. Okay, I have some kinds of detail on genre theory and genre analysis after this review of literature. Quantitative approaches and qualitative approaches to language descriptions seek relations and connections between the text and context, okay? In genre analysis as a quantitative approach to language descriptions, different definitions zones are presented here. Chris 1994 explained achievement of genre is necessarily an integral part of achievement of writing. By two I mean genre, an integral part of achievement of writing. Two are interwoven and linked together, okay, and interrelated. Genre-based is really, really useful in ESP as well, English as a specific purposes areas. English as a specific areas, schools or methods or textbooks or genre theory, teachers employ genre-based, but how? Teacher tries to analyze type of text a student needs to read, a student needs to write, okay? They need to produce specific kinds of writing regarding ESP. So primary context in English as a specific purposes teacher is identifying communicative needs of professional group, professional community, professional students, and prepare the student for better communication, okay? The teacher asks his student to compare and manipulate sample of target genres, target kinds, to extract grammar feature. First of all, they extract grammar feature. What kind of grammar feature we have in this, genre, in these genres of ESP. Then syntactic building blocks in a process called rhetoric conscious raising, something like scaffolding. And then it can be possible for the ELT practitioner, for ESP practitioners and teachers to develop writing skills in their students and their learners by assisting and guiding them to explore every key feature of the text to construct their own written text better. Okay? As I said to you before, we have two kinds of tradition in genre theory. Tradition as Australian genre theories, Sydney School in United States, Swalesian traditions, the other one. Australian genre theories or Sydney School influenced by systematic functional linguistic holiday. It concerns interplay between language and social context. They categorize genres into text type, what kind of genre we have, for example, narrative, expositive, argumentative, discussions, and it has its base in Vygotsky theory of learning, okay? So a lesbian tradition, on the other hand, has tendency to enable and provide students in producing genres needed in their academic or professional study. English as a specific purposes, ESP is another another school of genre pedagogy based on the work of Swal or genre analysis. ESP as another school of genre focuses on identifying key feature of genres used, employed in academic setting and professional setting, okay? This study has some kinds of, subject participants. Two classes, they were 22, 25-year-old. All of them were intermediate EFL learners, Iranian intermediate EFL learners in Tehran, in KATSI Civil Aviation Technology College, near to Mehrabad Airport, in Marriage Street, only made because we didn't have co-educational system here in this college. Two classes of undergraduate aviation students. All in all, we have total 51 students. Control group consisted of 26 students. On the other hand, experimental were 25 students. And all of them were native speakers of Persian or Farsi. So we have here English as a foreign language, EFL learners, okay? Design of this study and research is quasi-experimental. Why quasi-experimental? It's not totally experimental. We have some kinds of, limitations for, to reach the pure experimental design. What kind of limitation? All of them, for example, were intact, okay? They were not randomly selected. To establish classroom, for example, okay? And research questions are quantitative. Why quantitative? Because we have some kinds of numerical outcomes. We have some kinds of, manipulating the data and also giving some kinds of output by SPSS software, okay? And we have null hypothesis. Why? Because the dependent variable has no effects on dependent variable in null hypothesis. Groups A and B as control group, experimental group. First of all, we had some kinds of pretest to ensure the homogeneity of the proficiency. The proficiency here was Michigan battery test, lab test, first of all, and then writing homogeneity, first of all, and it was ensured by some kinds of rubrics, extracted by TOEFL IBT 2009. And for for pretest and treatment, for experimental group and no treatment, unusual kinds of writing instructions we have before in control group. And at last we have 4 post-tests of writing, okay? And instruments are written here by detail. Malactis, as I said you before, for insurance the proficiency. All of them are an intermediate level. TOEFL IBT test of writing for testing proficiency between 40 and 70%. When we have as an score and a scale are intermediate learners for MELAP test. And for pre-test of writing regarding, as I said you before, we have 4 kinds of genre here: argumentative, explanations, expositions, discussions, genres, okay? And then 4 process of writing regarding these genres. And all of them, was short way of, utilizing TOEFL IBT 2008-2009. We have some kinds of instruction material because we have some kinds of classroom, okay, per se. Control group, experimental group. For control group, we have a book, Paragraph Development, written by Arnoldens and Barrett, 2002. For experimental group, we have paragraph development, first of all, okay? And we have some kinds of lesson plans based on article by H. Widodo 2006, okay? I can tell you in details, and we have some kinds of assessment tools, criterion analysis sheets derived from Link 2008 article, TOEFL IBT rubrics, IBT 2009 for accessing writing homogeneity tests, okay? And some kinds of writing sampling taken from TOEFL IBT 2008 to expose, the participant to some kinds of, different kind of genres. TOEFL IBT test of writing for testing proficiency, writing homogeneity. Many people, this is the test. Many people visit museum when they travel to new places. Why do you think people visit museum? Use a specific reasons, an example to support your answer. This idea was given to the participants, and writing homogeneity test was ensured in TOEFL IBT rubric for testing their homogeneity in writing skills. May I change the file, please? To show you exact information about what I do in both classes as an treatment.
Atife, I think to make it you are not so exhausted. Yeah, we will keep there's participants keep also some questions.
Okay, how many minutes I have for the rest of presenting? Mr. Katibu told me 3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours,
but they will
exhausting.
be no, I mean there will be question and answer. So just make it relaxed. Yeah, don't be too exhausted. Yeah. Actually,
I'm not exhausted.
Oh, you are not exhausted.
I'm not exhausted.
I see.
No, I'm not exhausted.
Is it raining again there, or no? Now it's clear.
No.
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 Okay, there are some questions. Yeah, actually, first from the participant questions. Yeah, from participants, and then you can continue with the, with the presentation. The question is from, let's see, first, from Syed Muhammad Jafari. I think it's from Iran. Yeah, the name is Iranian. Yeah. Does genre-based instruction consider cognitive dimension of writing? What do you think, Atefe? Mohseni. Should I call you Atefe or Mohseni? Which one is better?
As you wish, no difference.
Oh, no difference, yeah. Does genre-based instruction consider cognitive dimension of writing? What do you think? Yes or no?
Pardon?
Does
You are pardon?
Does genre-based instruction consider cognitive dimensions of writing?
Okay.
Yeah. What is the answer? Yes or no? These questions.
Genre-based instruction of writing. I cannot clearly hear you.
Oh, really? Okay. Now, can you
No,
hear me?
it's due to your accents.
Oh,
You know, chunk by chunk, little by little. I cannot realize your accent, Indonesian accent.
oh, I see. Does genre-based instruction consider cognitive dimension of writing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
a kind of, you know, it's a kind of a combination and a combination of you know, as I said to you before, process based, and also it has, you know, an eye on, you know, social factors, communicative factors of, you know, writings. You know, the outcome of process based, we have cognitive process in process based, okay? The shortage of process based was that the students were not ready enough in different, you know, settings on their own for different purposes. No shortage in cognitive process. Okay, so in genre-based instruction of writing, we have simultaneously cognitive process of writing as we had in process based, and also it has an eye in a social, you know, factors, communicative purposes, social linguistic factors for different settings as the community demands them to write. Okay.
Okay. And you know, in yeah, we just want to check, yeah. What do you mean by genre-based instruction? Does it mean that when you teach, yeah, writing in the classroom, you used samples, yeah, so different kind of genres? You said that there are 4: argumentative.
Unfortunately, you stopped me. I was about to tell about the lesson plans of Jean-Base, different phases to show you what exactly is done in the classroom. You stopped me.
Oh, I see. I see. I think you can continue again now. Come on, you can
Yeah,
continue. Yeah, this time is yours.
yeah. I was about to give some kinds of, you know, real experiences about the Jean-Base instruction of writing. What we mean
Okay.
by Jean-Base
Okay.
instruction of writing.
Okay.
What
Okay.
kind of phases? Okay.
Okay. Okay. You can continue now. Sorry for interrupting.
No problem. You were really, really listening to me. It means that you are listening to me. You are all ears, and you have lots of, you know, questions that interest me.
Okay, come on, just continue. Atefe, you
Do you
can
have any
continue.
other? Do you have any other questions?
Yeah.
Maybe when I
Actually,
check it
there
from
are
here, I can.
also questions. Yeah, but I think it's better if you can continue explaining, and then we can have you know, question and
Okay.
answers after that. Yeah, so we know
Yeah.
the whole of your explanation. Come on, you can continue.
Can you see the screen right now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's a kind of lesson plan employing genre-based instruction of writing. You see, the level
Yes.
is intermediate. Okay.
Yes.
The goal at the end of the course that the student will be able to write essay using an information report text type. So it's a genre, okay? Information report text type. Objective at the end of the course, the student will be able to identify generic instruction of an information report text type, identify the grammatical feature of information report text type, write an essay using information report text type with comparison contrast pattern, okay? Time in a meeting is 90 minutes and venue is computer laboratory. Procedure is, first of all, the teacher informs activity student will carry out. The teacher introduces types of essay to the students they are going to write, okay? And CAL, computer assistant language laboratory, resources that the student will use, okay? Stage 1 is building knowledge of field. Time is 35 minutes. The teacher asks a student to name some famous, for example, domestic tourist object, which they already know, okay? Then give student brochures or pamphlets or manual about 2 domestic tourist objects, okay? Teachers have the student read the brochure provided by the teacher. Teacher asks the student to select one of the domestic tourist objects in which the student groups are interested. You see, so all of these building knowledge of the field. Get the student to browse and read about tourist object chosen to get more information about it on the internet. Have them identify the location of tourist object chosen, its uniqueness, its facility offered, and so on, to exploit the text, to use the text, and then ask a student to list their text investigations, have them to, have a conference to present the investigation using LCD projector, then show 2 short video about the, for example, some kinds of temple in Indonesia, you know them well. Borobudur temple.
Is it the real lesson plan, or did you? Is it the real, your lesson plan that you have 2 videos of Borobudur temple and Taman Mini, or you create yourself?
Both of them. I can remember it clear cut enough because in the long passes fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And active the student experience and provide the input about tourist object as a whole. In the next phase or next stage, exploring the genre and conferences. Time given is 30 minutes, okay? Display the text about the, you tell me, Borobudur temple and Taman Mini Indonesia temple in Indah.
Taman Mini Indonesia Indah.
Ask the student to read the whole text. Ask the student to identify what information is provided in the text using the graphic organizers 1 and 2 provided. Ask the student following questions, okay? What the text type is used in the text? What is the purpose of the text? Who is the reader of the text? How do you find such text? Okay? Then clarify the student's answer about the question below. Ask them to identify generic structure of the text. Have them identify grammatical features, that is tense, modal, passive, active voices, simple, compound, complex sentences, independent, dependent clauses, okay? That are used in the text. Ask the student to have a conference about their investigation about generic structure and grammatical features found in the text. Get the student to type question about the generative structure and text type and grammatical structure used in the text to allow students to consult their problem in grasping the text as a whole. Next phase is joint constructions. Joint text constructions. Time given, 25 minutes. Ask students to write together on the screen. In this case, the teacher and the student write an essay about the comparison contrast pattern, about the domestic tourist object chosen. Guide the student using some leading question and graphic organized, provided. Write some idea into an essay, look carefully on idea, organization, grammatical feature, get a student to read text, ask them some kinds of questions to learn some important features of the text. Next phase, write cooperatively. Time given, 120 minutes. In stage 4, building knowledge of a similar field. What we do or what we return if we, have similar fields. Ask a student to select 12 brochure or any information domestic tourist object that they need to use as a material for cooperative writing. The information could be derived from online sources on brochure. Have them identify the location of tourist object chosen, the uniqueness their facilities offer, and so on, to exploit the text, to use the text. Get the student to outline some important information using the graphic organizer for essay. Outlining provided to be developed into an essay. We have lots of stages. Stage 5, drafting, revising, conferencing. Get the student to develop their outline into completed essay using information report text type, the genre that we intended to learn and to write about it. By comparing, contrasting to domestic tourist object, choosing cooperatively, using a user-friendly computer program, for example, Microsoft Office, Word. Ask a student to revise their own essay before the essay conference activity. After revising all of these stages, have a student prepare a student-student conference. So activity is really, really high. After conference, ask a student to have teacher-student conference. Get the student to rework the essay on basis of conference activity done. Stage 6 is editing, publishing. Time given is 10 minutes. Have a student check minor mistake related to grammar, spelling, punctuation, dictation, and all the things like this. Ask a student to submit their revise. Okay, they revise their essay before, to submit their revise now by email to the teacher, to upload their work to the school website outside of the classroom. What we have as a material and aids: handouts, brochures, videos, cassettes, computer, LCD, screen. What we have as a kind of assessment or evaluation: the student essay will analytically be assessed, and evaluation, of course, will be carried out using the criterion below. A student's strengths, weaknesses in academic essay writing are shown here. Teacher-student interaction is really high. Okay, they are really, really engaged. Student-student interactions, teaching materials is really, really well occupied. They are well occupied, the student, teaching assessment instrument, and all the things like this. And then, by writing text for joint instruction, as I said you before, they read following instruction carefully. They have two types of in the first stage, okay? They have two texts about the Taman Mini Indonesia Indah and Borobudur Temple, okay? They have two texts about these temples in Indonesia. Identify what information you get from the text. So in joint, joint structure, joint text structure, they do all of this. Listed using graphic organization 1 and 2, compare and contrast information from two texts using graphic organized tree given. You know, they have some kinds of text about two temples of Indonesia. First one. Shall I read it? And text two. And then you see graphic organizer for information and essay outlining, as I said you before. Okay, this is the graphic organizer. All of the information are collected here, paragraph by paragraph. They write some main points that they read from the text one here, okay? Graphic organization two for text two, Borobudur Temple. All of them are asked to write some points that they read in text two about the second temple, okay? All of information are collected here, paragraph by paragraph, from paragraph one to the end, okay? And then they are asked to essay outlining, to do essay outlining. For what? For some kinds of comparison and contrast pattern, you know? What's the purpose of the things? What's the audience? What's the organization? What's the general information? What's the thesis assignment? Now compare Taman Mini Indonesia Indah and Borobudur Temple, how alike they are, okay? Write it here. Contrast the Taman Mini Indonesia Indah with the Borobudur Temple, how different they are, okay? Two, the first column is the first temple with regard to the second temple in Indonesia, okay? All of them are assigned and all of them are asked to fill out all of these, you know, outline, all of these charts to get conclusion, to get better outline, to get better pictures of the, you know, structure of the pattern. They have some kinds of interaction, student to student, student to teacher. They have some kinds of instrument. They have some kinds of aids from their teacher, okay? And also when they are, you know, outlining, they have some kinds of, you know, visualized and, you know, illustrated connector for comparison, contrast pattern, for example, okay? For comparison, contrast, for example, connectors, pair-word conjunction, coordinate conjunction, correlative conjunction, okay? So they are exposed chunk by chunk about the structures, you know, what we have in comparison, what we have in contrast. Okay, for example, in comparison, we have in the same way, but in the contrast, we have on the contrary, in the contrast, okay? And other connectors, transitional signal for connecting sentences, okay? Showing a conclusion, how we show a conclusion, okay? Briefly, sum up, summarize, in conclusion, shortly, indicating generalization, how we show the generalization. Generally speaking, in general, normal, frequently, commonly, okay? So they are exposed to the building blocks of the writing zones, okay? Expressing illustration, facts, example, indicating an argument, how we can argument, how we can have an argumentative text. Moreover, furthermore, in addition, okay? And then they have writing tests for cooperating writing, as I said you before, in the stages and phases, okay? In joint constructions, the first stage. Your topic is on the tourist object. You need to choose two tourist objects. You may browse any information on internet for two tourist objects. Develop your own idea, outline in an essay. You may have some connectors providers. And they have some kinds of outlining. You see, general information, thesis information, contrast with regard to how different all of these, you know, temples, they are together, conclusion. And some kinds of guideline for preparing essay for outline review for the final phase. Guideline for peer essay outline. What does it mean peer? Student-student interaction. Planner, reviewer, topic of essay. And then they rate the outline you have reviewed, check your rating. Points, need to improve, average good. Regarding general information, regarding thesis, regarding body, regarding concluding paragraph, okay? Is the outline written in a good or parallel order? Are main supporting idea clear? Are main supporting idea sufficient? And general comments, okay? Sample guideline for peer review, writing review. Form, what does it say is consist of? General information, does it have? Yes or no. Thesis, does it have? Yes or no. Body, does it have? Yes or no. Concluding paragraph, content. Is general information interesting and readable? So you have comments. Is the thesis clear? Comments. Does the body develop the thesis? Comments. Does the concluding paragraph summarize the body? Comments. For unity and coherence of differentials, do all of supporting sentences develop main idea in each paragraph? Are these transitional signal phrases and sentences connecting sentences or paragraph? Are the ideas arranged in logical order, grammar, vocabulary? Okay, and then, yeah, we have some descriptors of writing skills for writing marking schemes. Excellent, good, regarding language, mechanics, style, fair, regarding content, organization of, writing, language, mechanic, style, poor. And to make the whole long story short, some kinds of writing samples to expose to them: explanation, discussion, argumentative, expositions. Explanation, they are exposed to explanation genres. For example, here the teacher read them aloud as a kind of, genre. And this is the TOEFL rubric, as I said you before, for assessment writing. You saw I didn't form it. It's a, prepared and a standard rubric for assessment writing, adapted from official guide of TOEFL IBT. The score and the task, we have some kinds of a score and we have a total number, okay? And then I'm going to tell you about some kinds of criterion reference analysis sheets and some kinds of criterion analysis sheet for both of these. After exposing them to, different zones and working together. Yeah, this is all things as the treatment. All the participants had some amount of exposure to English language learning before. Research is 1 semester. Control group was taught in process-based writing instructions, okay, through writing, post-writing. But in, as I said, paragraph development, a book written in 2002. They practice cause and effect, compare and contrast in drafting and redrafting. But in experimental group, in spite of these traditional instructions, so they have process-based. In spite of this traditional instruction, they enjoy the treatment. Learning writing talks explicitly about those 4 genres according to lesson plan, as I read line by line, extracted from HV Dodo 2006, and writing samples, TOEFL IBT 2008, as I show you, in 4 phases. To make the long story short, in 4 phases. Field knowledge, exposing a student to model. By model, I mean writing models, writing piece of paper, talking about the topic. And in modeling instructor informs the student of social purpose. That is how people communicate in different ways, okay? Do you have any kinds of questions? I'm all here to hear your question. You vanish into thin air. David? I defended my position very well, so you left the position? David, where are you now? I defended my position very well. You left it? Are you content now?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's much clear now. Yeah, at the famous about the. So this is.
Yeah, I defended my position very well, and you just disappear into thin air and left your chair. Yeah, as I said, you, okay, in experimental group, in adding process-based, given paragraph development book written 2002, we have some kinds of treatments, okay? By treatment, I mean 4 phases. They enjoy 4 phases, okay? This lesson plan is extracted from HB Dodo 2006. Writing samples are extracted from TOEFL IBT 2008, okay? In 4 phrases, field knowledge, modeling, okay? 4 phases, they are exposed a student to model, taking about the topic in modeling instruction forms, student writing purposes, how to write. In joint constructions, teacher and the student begin to construct target text together, okay? And the teacher diminishes his role step by step. So he lets the students to work on their own, to enable them to writing process on their own, okay? When the students feel that they are capable, they can write on their own, and they are capable of identifying different genres and different social purposes. In spite of mastering using grammatical structure, they could begin independently constructing their own texts, okay? And at the end of these all phases, they are independent constructor. And the piece of their writing is as a kind of independent constructions, okay? Teacher's role was, as a kind of consulting, mostly in these phases, okay? So it's not student-centered as we had in product-based. It's not teacher-centered as we had in process-based. You know, the teacher is like as a kind of, counselor. He's consulting, mostly in this phase, all of this phase, okay?
I think we lost.
Students have more confidence.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, are you there?
Yes. I'm here. Okay, you can continue again.
Okay, shall I continue?
Yes, sure.
May I go on?
Sure, you can go on. Yes.
Yeah. We have some kinds of analysis prior to the experiments, as I said you before, okay? We have some kinds of lab, we have some kinds of, writing test, pre-test. So we have some kinds of, mean of lab for both group, mean of writing for both group. Mean of MLAB, you see they are at the same level. Mean of writing test, you see they are at the same level, 6.23, 16.23, 15.54, okay? They are at the same level, intermediate level, okay? Mean difference of MLAB, mean difference of both groups, mean difference of writing test, and p-value, possibility value of MLAB test and possibility value of writing test. Okay, it's before. For both of them, you know, MLAB test, writing proficiency. In, you know, green red, we have control group, and in blue red, we have experimental group. You see, they are nearly at the same level, both in MLAB test proficiency and writing proficiency. Okay, it's prior. So it's analysis prior to this study. We have treatment and research and discussion. Research question number 1, performance of control group and experimental group on coherence and cohesion of writing in post-test. The result indicated a significant difference between group performance in 4 post-tests of writing and revealed the superiority of experimental group in post-test of writing in coherence and cohesion. The Jean-based instruction has an effect regarding question number 1. So null hypothesis is rejected, okay? We have 4 Jean argumentative explanation, exposition, discussions, and 4 post-tests, okay? Mean scores of control group in 4 post-tests, mean scores of experimental group in 4 post-tests. You see? They have a superiority experimental group in comparison with mean score group, mean score of control group. You see, 44.89, for example. But what we have in control group, 34.08. Post-test argumentative, mean difference, p-value. You see? Now it's illustrated here, control group as green red, green color, and experimental group as blue color. You see, they have superiority in their post-test regarding cohesion and coherence. Question number 1. For 4, you know, Jeans, explanations, expositions, discussions. So discussion of research question number 1, a statistical discussion of post-test of both groups regarding coherence and cohesion scores are demonstrated and analyzed and revealed that first hypothesis of a study which assumed Jean-based instruction of writing had no significant effect on coherence and cohesion of participant writing is rejected. So possibility is bigger than p-value, okay? For 4 Jeans that we intended to study and have consideration above it, okay? Result and discussion regarding number 1, question number 1. Does GPI have significant impact on intermediate learners' writing skills such as coherence and cohesion? The potential effect of genre-based instruction of writing coherence and cohesion as writing skills have been scrutinized in parts for 4 genres respectively, okay? These parts demonstrated a statistical description of pre and process of control group and experimental group regarding cohesion and coherence. Scores, then it analyzes the impact of genre-based instruction of formational writing skills in each process of writing is analyzed. Table 4.6, 4.8, 4.10, 4.12 reveal that writing skills, that is coherence and cohesion, question number 1, have been positively affected, okay? They are superior. As a result of Jean-based instruction of writing, and control group had not progressed in these writing skills. Therefore, first hypothesis of the study, which assumed the instruction of writing had no significant effect on coherence and cohesion of participant writing, and it's rejected. Okay. Question number 2. Research question: performance of control and experimental group of organization writing in the post-test. The result indicated a significant difference between between groups' performance in 4 posts of writing, 4 rounds. Okay, revealed a superiority of experimental group on posts of writing regarding organizations. So, does GPA of writing have any significant impact on our organization of the writing? It was hypothesis. We had null hypothesis that Jean-based of writing had no significant effect on, writing organization. But as a table, 4.14, 4.16, 4.18, 4.20 in related parts reveal this approach of writing instructions positively affected the experimental group writing organization too. Briefly speaking, with regarding to second hypothesis, GBA of writing has significant effect on writing organization of intermediate EFL learners in CATSI Civil Aviation Technology College. And the second hypothesis, null hypothesis, is rejected. Okay. A lot of works in EFL writing have been done so far because Jean-based approaches are relatively new to ELT, and a lot of research in L2 writing Jean-based approach has also been conducted. Most of these studies are qualitative, not based on, outcome extracted from SPSS software or all this software like this. Okay. Most of these studies are qualitative, but mine was quantitative. And few other quantitative studies have been conducted so far. Chaizeri, 2010, has investigated how writing teacher implemented this pedagogy, but this pedagogy, GBI, in writing classroom. He analyzes 4 Thai student composition who participated in his study and concluded that Jean-based instructions had led to clear improvement, and both teacher and student had positive attitudes towards implemented pedagogy. By implemented pedagogy, I mean GBI, okay? Walker, 1999, designed a lesson plan. So he designed a lesson plan to give hints and tips, more information. When you are asking, what does it mean, Jean-based of instruction of writing? How can I put it into my classroom? What does it mean exactly, practically, empirically, okay? So Walker designed a lesson plan to teach lab report Jean to engineer students. He pointed out by integrating this approach, a student can resolve problems, okay? The problem they had in learning, the problem they had in writing regarding these Jeans, okay? Gebhard et al. Try to show how teachers use these kinds of approach to teach academic writing. Can be released 1999, investigated knowledge of 54 children in 3 genres, namely narrative, scientific, poetic. Mine was 4 genres, his is 3 genres. He assessed the writing based on absence or presence of a variety of textual and structural features of these genres. Peer and Nagy 2010 examined difference among 4 genres. Maybe like mine. Narrative, descriptive, contrast, and persuasive. Based on syntactic complexity and clauses per T unit. They observed significant differences between descriptive text for words per clause. HO 2009 also conducted a quantitative study, okay? We said that there are lots of qualitative studies regarding GBI, but HO 2009 conducted a quantitative, like mine, in which she designed a lesson plan she herself designed a lesson plan. She combined genre theory, okay? and systematic functional linguistic, and implemented and utilized the genre-based instruction of writing in her classroom, and compare pre and post-test products of the students. Finally found out that the genre-based instruction has resulted in the students improving the overall schematic structure patterns of chase construction. Okay, right now we have some kinds of score to post-test group in both group post-tests. Okay, min score of both post-tests for two group: genre, argumentative, explanation, exposition, discussion. Min score of control group, min score of experimental group. You see, in experimental we have 17.54, but what we have in control group 8.68. So they are superior in comparison with control group. In all genres, 18, 17, 18, 8, 9, 5, 9. Mean differences and p-value. Again, mean differences is bigger than p-value in argumentative. Mean differences is bigger than p-value in explanation. Mean differences is bigger than p-value in exposition genre, and mean differences are bigger than p-value in discussion genre. So in all of four genres, we have mean differences bigger than p-value, possibility value. There is a kind of illustration, bar graphs, to illustrate it better. Control group in green red, experimental in blue red. First genre, argumentative, and you see clearly cut enough that control group, they are less than experimental. So experimental have superiority. Okay. Regarding explanation, the same. They are superior. Experimental, blue color, they are superior. Regarding exposition genre, they are superior. You see, performance of both group in process of organization. Question number 2. In third genre, exposition genre. Okay. And the last but not least, discussion genre regarding performance of both groups in process of organization. You see, control group, green color, experimental, blue color. Okay. Second research question, another finding of this study is that GBA of writing had a significant effect on organization of participant writing. So it's clear now that control and experimental group mean scores. Experimental group are superior to organization progress in their writing to control group. Okay. Second hypothesis was null hypothesis as well. It's rejected, and GPA of writing had no significant effect of organization of their writing was rejected. Okay, because it has an effect, okay, on the dependent variable. By dependent variable, I mean organization. Okay. Conclusion: great effectiveness of GBA of writing or writing skills under consideration is observed. Do you need some kinds of rest? Are you exhausted? Are you tired?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, actually here it is raining. Yeah, just now, a few minutes ago, it is raining. So I go, and I think
you have rainy.
Yeah,
you
it
have
is
rainy
raining.
weather there?
Yeah, it was raining just now. Yeah, raining. So I went out for a while. Yeah.
It's contagious. David, it's contagious. It's raining in Iran. It's contagious like COVID-19 virus.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you have a rainy weather there.
Actually, it is. I think this is the last part, right? The last part, right? pedagogical implication sessions. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
but it's not short and then it's not brief. I have lots of details to present
Oh,
you here as pedagogical implication and
see.
suggestions.
Still, how many pages did you want to explain?
Maybe for 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you can continue and make it make it simple. Yeah. So we can have some participants want to raise questions as well, so we can have interaction, yeah, with the participants. Okay, come on, you can go on.
Okay. The result of this study have pedagogical implication for teaching writing to EFL students. In that case, learner language awareness would be increased. So in GBI, language learning awareness is increased. Writing has usually been formidable task, exhausting task without any interest for EFL students. But now GBI can liberate a student from fear of writing. Okay, it's appropriate for every context and setting. And conventional approaches and traditional ways such as product and product based, mostly writing is regarded as a piece of words well attached together grammatically and regarding their construction syntactically. Less attention has been paid to communicative needs, less attention is paid to features. On the other hand, effective communication is only possible if learners are aware of specific regulation and convention of each genre. It is suggested by researchers that writing instruction should provide a framework in which communicative functions are realized linguistically, okay? If the learners become aware of how language works, they will become more motivated, okay? They have high self-confidence, high self-esteem to write better in consonance and in accordance with different, situational contexts, which consequently enable them to make effective communication, okay? The EFL teacher should provide the students with schematic patterns of communications, okay, social cultural factors, typical generic lexical grammatical feature to increase student awareness, okay. You remember that kinds of, charts? It has, some kinds of role in, increasing student awareness to language, building blocks in writing. The result obtained from this study is theoretically important. Why? Because it confirms that genre-based instruction has provided a format for guided practice in every genre, okay? And it allows a student to concrete on particular stages to polish and to do better in organizing information cohesively, coherently. They have more organization in their writing, okay? Besides, this study have suggested GBI of writing also help EFL learners. Okay, not only ESL in ESP or all the thing in or EAP. It's better for EFL learners and teachers on how they should support the learners to improve their writing, to offering them a clear purpose in teaching in terms of particular genres, okay, that the students need. In addition to all of this that are mentioned informational, the study shows that in order to get best result, both teachers and both students have to engage, commit in procedure and activities offered in this approach. Okay, we should have some kinds of interaction, student interaction, student teacher interaction. The present study expanded information about how to teach genre-based, your question, okay? And it stressed the importance of this approach, GBI approach, on elevating writing skills. Right, all these studies, this one suffer from several limitations, okay? It has some kinds of deficits. For instance, the design of the study is quasi-experimental in the nature, and it inhabits generalizability. We cannot generalize it, the results, the other educational settings, okay? The researcher only investigated the impact of genre-based instruction on coherence, cohesion, and organization, okay? and effectiveness of GB of writing on other elements of good writing are missed. Yeah, researcher can also be concluded the relationship of proficiency level of participant in using GB of writing. Okay, several studies can be done and can be conveyed and can be conducted in which different investigating factors are controlled. For example, some factors are missed in my study, such as age, gender, and the other kinds of jumps. I only included 4 kinds of jumps in my study. Okay, thank you. Thank you for giving attention. It's finished. Do you have any question? I'm all ears.
Okay, thank you. We have some questions here from, let's see here. First from Shah Safar. Yeah. How can we facilitate students writing during pandemics? Okay. How can we, what is it? How can we facilitate students writing during pandemic COVID-19? Yeah. Now, this
How we
question
can
is facilitate. How can we facilitate? Yes, facilitate students writing in pandemic. In the pandemic.
In pandemic?
Yes.
Maybe utilizing my recommended
Actually, this
instruction of writing.
This question is from Safar. Yeah, Safar. I think this question is out of this context. Yeah, meaning that you explain.
Fortunate people on the air facing this pandemic situation, COVID situation.
Yeah.
Why fortunate? Because we are in 21st century, and in 21st century we have access to be connected to the other people and to share information and also share our experiences together via internet and via technology. So first of all, utilizing some kinds of webinar like this is a a hands or a handy procedure or manual to be recommended to the other people. For example, Indonesian people who are EFL learners, like Iranian people, first of all, presenting webinar, then some sharing some kinds of experiences, some kinds of deficits, some kinds of suggestions, some kinds of exchanging pamphlets, exchanging some kinds of website, and all the things like this. By writing, the story is not that much different from the other skills, but we can work on it using internet and using different kinds of teaching writing skills. Are you content with my response, or do you need something some information extra?
We asked Safar. Yeah, does it answer the question, Safar? Are you still here? Safar, let me check. Oh, he's already gone. Yeah, I think it answered the questions. Yeah, and then the next question from Lalu Tohir, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Oh, from Lalu Tohir. The question is, how did you measure the students in which you categorize them into intermediate level? Is it based on their writing skills?
Yeah, intermediate level, I told you before that I gave them, a kind of, idea or topic for writing. And then I had some kind of rubric. I show you in my appendices files.
Yes.
And in rubric, that is a standard, and it's extracted from TOEFL IBT 2009. They have some kinds of scores. So we have a kind of quantitative approach to these kinds of, ensuring their level of proficiency in writing skills.
And I think the next question, I think you have already explained, yeah, but you can answer it quickly. Yeah. Lalu Tohir questions is, do you provide any framework, theoretical or conceptual underlying this study? Actually, you explain, yeah, some of the study, yeah, and
Yeah, I'll explain it.
there are plenty of theoretical framework, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next question, Bu Siti Tarwiyah, why are the instructional materials differentiated?
Because we had two kinds of groups: experimental group, control group. In control group, just process-based approach, paragraph development, a book written 2002. But in experimental, I have treatment. So treatment is related to GBO of writing. GBO of writing is a kind of, lesson plan extracted from HV Dodo. So different kinds of instructions. It's clear cut enough.
Okay. And then does it mean that the results are also influenced by the difference of materials, not only method?
Different material are derived from different methods.
Oh.
Material is extracted from an article written by H.V. Dodo 2006. And that article, if I had, privilege to share the article with you, I would send it, because I use it as a, reference in my, study reference, but it's not written. I sent you that article written by H.V. Dodo, and me myself didn't design, the GBI method, taken there, undertook there. And H.V. Dodo is a well-known, ELT practitioners. He, applied that method, that lesson plan. I derived that lesson plan based on GBI in my classroom.
Okay. I think those are the questions, and yeah, actually your findings are interesting. Yeah, meaning that actually genre-based instructions influence, yeah, students' writing, yeah, based on your what is it? Based on your research, yeah. Actually, most of the students who are in the experimental groups, yeah, get higher scores than students in the control group. Do you what is it? Do you also do you read, yeah, articles which are similar to your research? Yeah, meaning that they also conduct the same similar research. I mean, at FF.
It's nearly to publish. It's ready, and Mr. Kafipur has some kinds of, supervision on it. Yeah.
Okay.
After the webinar is done, we have some kinds of, plan for publishing a paper based on this webinar.
I see. And oh yeah, let me explain Atefah, that after this, yeah, I want you to submit your manuscript, yeah, here. By you can use what is it? You can sign what is it? Register, yeah, register your account here in this website. This is our journal, yeah. You can register. You can write down the username and then password, yeah, and so forth here. Okay, and I hope you can use our, our template. Yeah, this is our template. on the right hand, let's see. This one is article template, and I want
Yeah.
you can
Maybe
use
I
this
do something
article.
to email this website for me to submit
Yeah.
my paper based on this
Yes.
webinar. I'm
Yes.
really eager to publish a paper based on this seminar.
Yes. And I will send you the link. Yeah. And also, just for your information, that it's much better if you use Mendeley for references. Yeah. So we usually use Mendeley. So meaning that all of, and also you can, you can update, the.
Yeah, for paper, for webinar, no reference is needed, but for paper, Mendeley.
Mendeley.
Software
That's
and,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I think you know already. Yeah. I think that's it. Let's ask the participants. Yeah, do they have any questions?
Yeah, can I ask one more question?
Oh yeah, from Bu Tarwia. Yes, Bu Tarwia. Come on.
Yeah, okay. As far as I know, genre-based instruction has 4 stages, but you have 6 stages, if I'm not mistaken. Is it correct that you have 6 stages?
4 genres here. 4 genres here. In my webinar, 4 genres here.
Yeah, okay. As far as I know, genre-based instruction has 4 stages: building knowledge of field, modeling of text,
You mean a
chain
stage of
construction of
genres.
text, and independent construction of text. Yeah.
4 phases. Yeah, you're totally correct. 4 phases in, teaching the genre base.
Okay, but 6 stages you have?
It's written to make the whole story, long story short there, but in details and in classroom, it's written detail by detail. But if you want to show it all in all in a brief way, 4 stages, okay, all in all. But in the classroom, we have some others, details to expand and to equip the students in different ways and to expose them to the, A to Z level. So to make the long story short, we say that 4 stages, okay, that's all. But in a real situation and real classroom, it's written, as you said, 6 stages, and 6 stages is derived from H.V. Dodo, 2006. Right now, I sent it to David. It's a referenced article. I didn't design it, okay? But all in our genre-based instruction, when we say what kind of phases we have, to make a long story short, we can enumerate these 4 stages or 4 phases. No difference.
Okay, I share actually your file here in the chat box, Bu Tarwiyah and others. This is an article, an article by Prof. Handoyo Widodo.
2006.
Yes. We know him. We know him well actually. He is famous here in Indonesia. Handoyo. I share the article. Any other questions from the participants? Come on.
No, thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening to me and for asking these kinds of questions. It's clear cut enough that you have already listened to every detail, and you have a very, very, very informative questions. Thank you for having me, and I would send you love and regards from Iran, Tehran right now. Hope to see you in person in Indonesia, maybe in near future.
Okay, I think thank you very much for giving us, this topic is quite
on a paper based on references done by mentally software would be
yes.
published via your website
And
sooner
and
or
you
later.
know and also there will be
It will be
reviewing
under the
process.
supervision of Mr. Kafipur. It's
Yeah.
written there and it's written right now,
Yes.
and submitted at most 1 month.
Okay. No problem. And after that, there will be reviewing process actually, and we will ask two reviewers, to give comments on your manuscript or articles, so you could get feedbacks. You see, I think that's all. If there are no questions, and thank you very much, Atef Mohseni. See you
Thank you very
again
much,
next
David,
time.
for
Yeah.
having me. I really, it's my honor to be participated in your webinar and to represent my study and my research done in CATSI Civil Aviation Technology of Iran, Tehran here.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. So,
Thank you so much. Thank you so
you're-
much for your attention and
Yeah.
your nice words and nice questions and informative questions.
Can we have a photograph together with all of the participants?
Yeah,
For
why
all
not?
participants, could you please turn on your camera so we will take photos? You see, we will take photos together with our presenter, Atef Mohseni. I like your research. Yeah, this is similar to the one that I got in my master's degree. Yeah, the same theory. Yeah, like there are my classmates also here, Bu Dian Milasari, Bu Nadia, and then Dewi Puspitasari, Agnes, and then who else? Yeah, we study the same thing actually. We study the same thing, and who else? Yeah, that's it, my classmates. Yeah. Okay, we will take pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Next, we will have another picture with the participant. Okay.
Thank you all guys. Stay blessed in Indonesia.
Yeah,
Really, it's really nice to meet you, all Muslim friends all over the world, especially Indonesia. Hope to see you there in Jakarta.
In Jakarta and in Shiraz, yeah.
Yeah, in Shiraz.
Okay, see you. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye, friends. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you.
Happy weekend. Bye-bye.
Nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you Pak Dapik. PPT-nya ya Pak. Classmate.
Sudah saya.
Mate, soulmate. Mbak Dian, aku nggak bisa.
Aku juga baru nih.
Kangen Mbak Dian.
Itu.
Mbak Agnes.
Mana Mbak Agnes ya?
Rauni, Mbak Dewi juga, Pak Dapik.
Mana Mbak Dewi?
Di mana?
Agnesnya
nggak bisa
Dewi
on
mana?
kamera.
Mbak Dewi ada?
Mbak Dewi P. Puspita.
Oke, thank you. Izin live. Terima kasih David.
Iya Mbak Dian.
Teman-teman Nadia, thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Oke, saya tutup ini ya Zoom-nya ya.